So, welcome to a new video. This is the series where I read a chapter of a new book every single morning and I come and tell you guys exactly what I've learned. So, we're reading Atomic Habits, and today I'm going to be speaking about how to stop procrastinating. Now, I'm telling you guys from the point of view of, listen, I've learned this today, and I'm going to talk about how I'm going to implement it and how you guys can implement it too. So, in terms of procrastinating habits, etc., you always want to look at it from the point of view of the reason the whole book's called Atomic Habits, right? Is your habits are like the atoms that build that part of your life, right? So wherever you want to go, where you are now in life, where you've been previously, they're all results of your habits. The little habits that you've done every single day up until this point. That's why it's called Atomic Habits. It's life at a granular level. So when you take a step back to really think about and take an audit of all your actions, what you do every day, rather than living life on, on autopilot, on AFK, then you can really see how you can change these habits and use the way that your body naturally forms habits to your advantage. Cool. So in order to stop procrastinating, right, what you want to do is find a ritual that leads you to the right choices. So when you actually think about it, good decisions, bad decisions, the day is won at key moments where you make key decisions, right? And there might be 3 or 4 moments throughout the day where you make the either right choice or the wrong choice that determines, the positive outcome of the day, like whether it's been a good day or a bad day, right? And if you make enough of these good decisions or enough of these bad decisions over a certain amount of time, eventually you're going to end up with a completely different result, right? So it all depends on what decisions you make at key points of your day. Now, let's say, for example, you're driving back home from work, you see the gym there, you know you're supposed to go to the gym to get a workout, and at this point of the day, you decide, no, you know what, I'm just going to keep going home, and I'm not going to get my workout in. Or you could also decide, listen, I'm going to go to the gym's there, I'm making the decision at this key point to get my workout in. And if you make enough of these good decisions, then you're at the right place. Now, how you stop procrastinating, right? Especially when it comes to making these key decisions at certain parts of the day, is you want to make this super easy, right? People tend to procrastinate because you make the habit or what you need to do seem super big, like a massive mountain to climb. And if you know anything about the human brain, the way your mind works is you always want to go down the path of least resistance, right? Or if you see me sweating, we're in a heat wave here, so I'm boiling. But yeah, cool. So you always want to go down the path of least resistance, right? So what actually happens then is you need to make sure that the habit that you want to do, make it as easy as possible. Make it seem like, it's not a mountain to climb. It's just a little, like it's a simple ask. Like I'd be dumb to not do this, right? And then when you start, you're gonna carry on. So it could be something as little as, let's say, for example, you want to journal, right? You want to journal every single day, but journaling might seem like work to you. You always want to stop at the point where it seems like work to you. So your task, your non-negotiable at this part of the day might be, you know what? I'm just gonna write 2 or 3 lines on how I feel right now. And you write those 2, 3 lines, and more likely than not, 8 times out of 10, you're going to want to carry on, right? I can't remember exactly who it was, but in the book Atomic Habits, it talks about some guy who says that he always stops journaling when it gets to the point where it feels like work. So as soon as it starts to feel like work, because that's when you're gonna, there's gonna be friction. You're gonna decide, oh, do I really want to do this? You're kind of dragging your feet along. You don't want to use motivation to get you over these hurdles, right? You always want to make it super easy. Now, whether it's, going to the gym, your little ask might be, you know what? I'm just gonna put my shoes on and go for a walk. Let's say you want to lose weight. Your little ask might be, I'm just gonna put my shoes on and go for a walk, and I might walk past the gym, right? Eventually, you're gonna end up going inside the gym. You're like, okay, if I'm using this much energy to get ready and walk past the gym, I might as well go inside. And if I go inside, I might as well actually get a workout done. It's like those days where, when you really feel like, listen, I'm not in the mood to go to the gym today. I don't feel like it. And then you do that first set, you feel the blood pumping in your body, and you're like, okay, you know what? let's hit the second set, third set. Before you know it, you've completed a whole workout, right? And why this is so important is, it's easy to do stuff on the days where you feel like it, right? But what actually matters even more is the days that you don't feel like it, because that's what is going to allow you to make the most of the compounding effect over a sustained period of time, right? So the days where you don't feel like it, still doing the action on those days is even more important than doing it when you feel like it. But to make sure that you do it even when you don't feel like it, make the ask super small. Make it so that it's like, this would be almost ridiculous if I just didn't just do this. If I didn't just go for this walk, if I didn't just put my gym clothes on. Make the ask super small. That it just forces you, it's a no-brainer to take action. That's what you want to do. You just want to take action, right? And if you do that over a long amount of time, then it just becomes second nature. So always remember, whatever new habit you want to do, always, it needs to be below the point where it feels like work. And the reason this ties in, just to wrap this all up, the reason it ties into procrastinating is because people tend to procrastinate because the task seems super hard. So you'll push it off, and because in your mind it's the path of least resistance. What's the easier thing to do? To do the hard tasks, the tasks that I perceive as super difficult, or just chill and carry on what I was doing anyway and relax, watch some Netflix, right? But if the path of least resistance is just, if it's like, you know what, let me just do it for 2 minutes. Let me just do it for 2 minutes. That's another rule as well that you can make use of, doing it for 2 minutes and then just stopping. But if you do it for 2 minutes, you're likely gonna want to do it for 5, 10, 15, and then look, you've done the habit. You're still making use of the compounding effect. So always remember that it ties into procrastinating, because at the end of the day, you're still taking action. Whereas if you weren't using this methodology, you wouldn't be taking action. So I'm going to start implementing this as well, for sure. I don't really procrastinate anymore. To be fair, the only one thing I do procrastinate with is when it comes to learning Portuguese. I'm trying to be a polyglot, so learn 5 languages. I can speak English and French. Portuguese is the third one that I'm trying to learn, but I do procrastinate a lot with that. So this is something that I'm going to start implementing. Just 2 minutes. I'm just going to do it for 2 minutes. Just open up my Spotify language playlist, listen to some Portuguese for 2 minutes. Make it a super easy ask, and that will definitely stop me procrastinating. But that's the video for today. That's all. One take.